Hello and welcome to the history of Star Trek Lower Decks. On today's episode, we're going to be covering Ensign Beckett Mariner. And here we go. Ensign Beckett Mariner was a female human Starfleet officer who lived during the late 24th century. Both of her parents served in positions of command in Starfleet. Her mother and later captain, Carol Freeman, attempted to keep a close eye on her activities on board the USS Cerritos, while her father, Alonzo Freeman, was an admiral. Mariner gained considerable experience and formidable skills as a Starfleet officer, but her career had been impeded by an insubordinate and defiant, arrogant spirit. As such, for all her professional accomplishments, she disdained promotion and its attendant responsibilities, preferring to remain at the rank of ensign by deliberately engineering demotions and reckless behaviors that have often brought her to the risk of court-martial. Starfleet Academy. Mariner excelled at Starfleet Academy, gaining the best grades in her class. She was often noted as being a bit of a role model for her class, and that she always made sure that her class kept up with her. Many, such as her friend and classmate Amina Ramsey, predicted that Mariner would be the first of her class to get promoted to captain. Together, the two got into a lot of mischief, such as stealing Professor Rubichuk's old special car and driving it into the bay. Mariner prided herself on the ability to think for herself in critical situations, as she had served aboard 5 different Starfleet vessels. There was a time when she was interested in advancing in rank, though her views regarding promotion and importance of the senior staff had become somewhat jaded by 2380. On one harrowing occasion, she was trapped in a sentient cave for weeks, describing it as a dark place that knows things. She also noted that she had almost been decapitated by a singing crystal, and was once held in a Klingon prison, where she had to fight a Yeti for her shoes, merely because the Yeti wanted to be antagonistic. She kept her battle scars from a fight with a tentacled man that stabbed her with a barnacle blade in the chest, a fight on Mangus III that left a scar on her right shoulder, a scar on her bicep from Nabina Prime, and a scar on her hip from a fight in Scottsdale. After Commander Jack Ransom stabbed her in the left foot with a crystal sword on Gilrak 5, she intended to allow the skin to heal into a new scar. At some point, she befriended and blood bonded with General Corrin. Years later, she recalled that she and Corrin had done some off-the-books Grey Ops stuff back in the day, and together had worked on JAXA Prime, Vulcan, and Earth. Another point in time, Mariner became acquainted with her mother's mentor, William T. Riker. Riker was indebted to Mariner, and despite being responsible for hooking her up with all of her contraband, such as Romulan ale, she insisted that Riker saving the Cerritos from the Pakleds did not make them even. Deep Space Nine. Sometime between the year 2372 and 2375, Mariner served aboard Deep Space Nine. During this time, she once broke Worf's mek'leth and apparently had it mended before he noticed it was gone. Mariner later described hating the station, and in fact incurred a sizable debt at Quark's, which equated to a stack of latinum. The tab was cleared later when Mariner blackmailed Quark with a data chip copy of that hologram program with Quark's head on Kira's body that Kira Nerys had altered to his embarrassment, and had deleted what he thought was the only copy in 2373. The Atlantis. Also sometime during the 2370s, Mariner served on board the starship Atlantis, when nearly half the ship's crew succumbed to a Kerplinkian lice infestation. Since Starfleet was embarrassed by the situation, it was never logged on official records. Mariner took advantage of this fact, and she started a rumor that she was a specially trained Black Ops spy who had killed those who had otherwise simply and officially had mysteriously disappeared. The USS Cerritos. The Cerritos was Mariner's 5th ship posting. Her fellow Command Division officers, and eventually friend Brad Boimler, noted that she had hated to give the orientation liaison tour, but offered to provide a tour to Ensign Devon Attendi to get her help in moving shore leave contraband. By this time, she had been serving on the Cerritos for a year, and could really only be considered friends with engineer Sam Rutherford before Tendy's arrival. In 2380, while supporting second contact with the Galadorians, Captain Freeman asked Ensign Boimler to monitor Mariner's activities. He eventually believed he had caught her stealing Federation weapons, but she had actually been providing needed farming equipment to local farmers in an effort to bypass Starfleet bureaucracy. Aboard the Cerritos, Mariner's assigned bunk was A12001 on Deck 11, in the lower deck sleeping quarters, shared by lower deck officers on beta shift. For a brief time, she received another promotion to lieutenant, and as such received her own quarters, before being demoted back to ensign. Her promotion was actually a scheme to get her to resign after she disrespected Captain Freeman in front of Captain Durango. Starbase 80. Mariner was transferred to Starbase 80 by Captain Carol Freeman after being accused of besmirching the USS Cerritos and its crew. She briefly served there before resigning from Starfleet. She then became the partner of Petra Aberdeen in the Independent Archaeologists Guild. Following her short-lived resignation from Starfleet, Mariner returned to the USS Cerritos, where she was welcomed with open arms. Furthermore, Mariner realized that she preferred being part of Starfleet with its ideals. To that end, Mariner explained to her mother that she had a new resolve to seriously advance in the ranks, and persuaded the captain to have a more reluctant Commander Ransom assigned as her mentor. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Star Trek. Special thanks to Memory Alpha for all information you heard today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.